everybody. Welcome back. All right, we got a show for you. All right, folks, welcome back to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour. We're brought to you live from the Robust Cannabis Studios at K-Kid 92.9, produced by Route 66 Labs out of New Mexico. On the digital side, we are going to have a great ball game today for you all. This is that show. We don't care if you're from a big town or a small town, as long as you get down with the grass. We're going to talk all about that today. All right, so let me introduce you to our guest today. We've got Phil's in the house. Phil's hanging out with us today. On the digital side, you won't be able to see Phil because
we'll get Phil on.
Has the invisibility powers.
We have the power and capability.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. And we got Steve from K-Kid Radio holding down the board. What's up, Steve?
Hey, everything, man.
Justin Trowbridge, Route 66 Labs down in New Mexico. How you feeling, Justin?
Doing good, man.
Oh, we can hear him. That's amazing. We love all that. All right. I know Tim, our co-host, Tim Harms, is out of the studio this week, but he is listening. So we appreciate you, buddy, and travel safe. And we'll see you next week with the.
You can always call in and harass you.
That's what I want. I want harassment. More harassment.
Of course you do.
Oh, hold on. Turn my mic up. All right. So I'm going to check this out, guys. You want to hear a great lineup for a Cannabis Talk radio show. We got the hemp colonel, Todd Scatini, is going to call in today.
Nice.
He's going to talk about an event that they just had with the Veterans Community Project, where they built a hemp doghouse to demonstrate to folks that it can be done. So he's going to come on and bark all about that. We're going to talk all about some other stuff he's got going on. Justin's got Tara Lujan. Did I pronounce that right, Justin?
Tara
Lujan from New Mexico. Now tell us a little bit about what Tara does. This is pretty wild.
So Tara's the state rep that basically helped push through our adult use program down here.
Right, so that's representative. I should have said Representative Tara. Right on. And so that's pretty cool. We're going to hear all about what that push looked like down in New Mexico, because they are an adult use market and having a lot of fun down there and making some money for their educational program while they're doing it. We also have Dr. Bridget Cole-Williams is going to come on the show to talk about the Courage in Cannabis release. That's a book that's got all kinds of great people in it, like Ed Rosenthal, Mike Tyson, Adam Wilkes, all kinds of wonderful, powerful women in cannabis too. And she's going to come on and talk about the book being released this Friday. It comes out this weekend.
Wow.
I'm in the book. I'm pretty excited. I'm one of the authors. I get to be in there. It's a blessing and a lot of fun. To be
Been talking about that for a long time.
Yeah, and it's finally here. Yeah, we'll be doing some book signings and stuff.
So where will they be able to find them?
Walmart.
Really?
Yeah, really. Walmart, Amazon,
all your
Barnes and Noble picked us up,
right?
As well as there's another great big Hastings. There's another great big book one out there too. But Walmart, Amazon, you'll be able to get it on all those platforms, and we'll make sure over the next couple months that we share where you can get that just about every show. Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of proud of this one, just to be real. But you're gonna get a copy, Phil?
I am.
Yeah.
Are you gonna do any book signings?
Just yours.
Perfect.
Yeah. Upside down.
Hey, what's that other book that you're in, Waxy? The one that was on a coffee table somewhere?
Are you talking about the military one?
Yeah.
So, Vice President Dick Cheney at the time released a coffee table book when I was in the service that had all kinds of great pictures from the combat photographers in all of the different services during that time. And my photo was chosen. It's a pretty neat photo, USS Boxer with a battle flag behind it. My photo was chosen as the middle photo in that big book, so it takes up both pages. My mom has a copy of that, I think. I don't know where you'd get a copy nowadays, but yeah. And I've got 7 books of poetry I published as well. So I've been doing books for a minute, but never about the story and the cannabis side of everything. So it's going to get pretty wild. We've also got some other guests on. I've got Ashton Carr from Clear Cannabis is going to be on the show, as well as Andy Berg from Coco are going to be on to talk about some of the stuff they got going on. You know, Coco's always making waves out there, and the Clear has some of the dopest products on the recreational market right now.
Right.
So
they're going to be vending, or actually just coming out and passing out some swag during our
parking lot party.
Our parking lot party.
We're going to do kind of an event segment of the show today. We're going to talk about some of the events that we've got going on, and those guys are going to be a big part of it. You guys ready to rock and roll? Did I miss anything?
Nope.
All right. I like that. All right, guys. So before we take our first break, and when we come back, we've got some really great guests that are going to be on. Todd Scatini will be on. He's going to have a good time, too. We're going to talk all about all kinds of good stuff. But I wanted to bring up this article. Do I still have Justin on?
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right. Steve, are you fixing things over there? Okay. All right. All right. So this one's really important for me. Cannabis is doing all kinds of great things out there, right, Steve?
I'm listening.
Yeah. Okay. Cannabis is doing all kinds of great things out there. Well,
I'm doing my camera work.
This
here for
part
a
is
minute.
really important for you and Justin and for Phil. There's a lot of hope we're finding in research for different ailments and things like that out there. And this one isn't necessarily an ailment, but I wanted you guys to know. It says here that they've got some research happening. It says weed and hair growth, and a small study that researchers claim showed superior results. Now, I've got a little thinning happening back there behind the bandana. I'll admit it. But I know everybody on this show, that all my hosts here, co-hosts, all also support those bald heads. So I want to talk a little bit about what's going on out there. It says every patient in this experiment that they did, they experienced hair regrowth after a daily application of a topical solution for a period of 6 months. I can't tell if you're mad at me or you're really interested right now, Phil, but we're going to go on.
No, I'm waiting to hear the rest.
Okay. The study involved 31 male and female patients with androgenetic alopecia. Do you guys know what that is?
No.
That's just regular balding. What is it, Justin?
That's where you lose all your hair, your eyebrows, your facial hair, everything.
Oh, wow.
No, it's actually the most common cause of hair loss. You might be thinking of something else there. Maybe, but you could be. I don't know. I'm not a hair journalist or anything. They found that in every patient, that's 15 men and 16 women, experienced hair regrowth after a daily application of a topical solution that contained hemp-derived cannabinoids for a period of 6 months. Now, not a single one of the patients had any adverse effects. There was no like rashes or any itching or things like that, just hair growth. And here the study noted that since this hemp extract works through novel mechanisms entirely different from finasteride. Do you guys know what that is?
No.
Finasteride?
Yeah, it's a
Big strain.
fake strain, and minoxidil, which are what are currently people use to try and keep hair loss from happening. It said that it had no adverse effects to those either, so people can continue to use the medicines that they have, and then the medicines they don't. Now, I'm going to ask you guys: have you guys tried like rubbing your weed on your head before?
No.
I
Can't
had
say
some
that I have.
CBD lotion, but I didn't make a habit of it. No.
No, you did it one time. It was an accident. Oops. No.
I had some extra on my hands.
Well, it makes me wonder because what they're using is just a general CBD topical with no other hair things on it whatsoever. And now let's think about that in terms of hair loss. Like, people are dealing with that all the time. I wish I had a little more hair loss between my eyebrows, but I don't. But in fact, I guarantee you, within like a year, 2 years, you're going to see the big cats out there like Rogaine and all these guys come out with their hemp version of this. And what if hemp and rubbing CBD on your head is more effective than Rogaine?
It's an interesting thought.
I mean-
I'm not even sure I would go for that, honestly. I'm so used to not having hair. Apparently,
I've known you for like 20-something years, and I've never seen you with hair.
I didn't realize it until recently. Apparently, bald guys can get their head wet anytime they shower and don't have to worry about drying their hair.
What's that mean? I don't really dry.
I don't know. Do people with long hair have to like decide when they can get their hair wet?
No, I do it when my hair. Yeah, no, that's not a thing. They tricked you. I don't think that's a thing.
Just trying to make me feel
Justin,
better.
just out of curiosity, I know you've got a lot of connections in the hemp industry. Will you be going to some of those connections and trying to get a product like this started for yourself?
Probably not.
Oh.
I was thinning and all that, so I decided to start shaving it. And to be honest, being a big guy with a bald head has its advantages.
It does. Yeah.
People don't look at me for kidnappings. People don't look at me for, really anything at the bar. So, and honestly, I spend less time dealing with my hair now than you probably do. I mean, seeing you coif your hair before we go live with any video stuff, I don't have to do that. I can just go.
What did you say? I floffed it?
Coiffed it. Q-U-A-F-F, coiffing.
Gotcha. Okay, well, I mean, that makes a lot of sense too. All right.
Can't pull off dreadlocks, though.
When we get back, we're going to have some awesome guests for you guys, including Todd Scatini, who is a graduate of West Point, who now works today in the cannabis spaces, trying to spread the information about veterans and cannabis, and that they need a lot more access than they have now. All right, you guys ready to take a break? All right.
Ready.
When you guys get back, we're going to have all kinds of cool stuff for you. You're listening to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, brought to you live from the Robust Cannabis Studio, K-Kid 92.9.
Fair seas and following winds. Reveille is finally available. Learn more at getyourshipright.com.
At Robust, we think it's only right you know how the flower you enjoy is cared for and grown. Our process begins by hand-selecting premium genetics for our mother plants. The plants are then cloned and grown to become the strains offered by Robust, like Cali Raisins and Brunch Punch. One of our core growing principles is feed the soil to feed the plant. That's why everything on our facility is grown in living soil, a unique combination of beneficial microbes, worms, and nutrients. Our plants are grown in a high-tech greenhouse built specifically for cannabis. We use the sun's natural light when it's available and supplement with premium LEDs when needed. Every pot at Robust is hand-watered and cared for by individuals on our team of passionate cultivators every single day, so there's always eyes on the plant. Not only that, but Robust is the only KIND certified facility in the state of Missouri. Think organic, but for growing cannabis. After 8 to 9 weeks in the grow room, depending on the strain, the flower is ready to be harvested. The plants are chopped and hung to dry in a humidity-controlled room. This process is what brings out the aromas and flavor profile of each distinct strain. After 10 to 14 days of drying, the trichome-covered buds are ready to be cured and set aside for trimming. Once our team hand trims and manicures every bud to remove the imperfections, the cannabis is meticulously weighed and put into our iconic Robust Red, fully recyclable packaging and heat sealed to ensure freshness. And that's what you're about to try now, because even though you know Robust cannabis is sustainable, organic, and all natural, you can't understand the hype until you try it yourself.
At BesaMe Wellness, we're all about supporting the health and well-being of our community. With a wide selection of locally curated medical marijuana products, we'll help find what works best for you. Don't have a card? Let us help navigate the application process. And if you can't make it to one of our 5 convenient locations, we'll even deliver to your door. Visit us in-store or online at besamewellness.com.
The secrets of Kung Fu are founded on 5 elements. Focus, remain like a cobra, ready to strike. Energy, be like a volcano, overflowing with energy. Endurance, be as water, continue to flow, matching the vibe.
Huh?
Get in the zone. Getting weird, let your freak flag fly high. Wait, this isn't the secrets of Kung Fu. It's what happens when you take Captain Crossfade. Party harder for longer with THCV and CBC. Take it with THC and stay in the zone way longer. Make any night one to remember. Wow, this is good stuff. Captain Crossfade, get lifted while you go bananas.
Hey everybody, it's Waxy Brown from Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour. I'm excited to talk to you about Missouri Growers Cup happening September 23rd at Smoky River Entertainment District, hosted by Ungayo Bilam from Netflix's Cooking on High. I'm excited to team up with the Smoky River team and the Missouri Growers Cup team to highlight our veterans at a time when our veterans need highlighted most. As a Navy veteran, I was taught that if one shipmate was sick, the whole ship was sick, and I believe that to this day. We have a responsibility to help our veteran friends and families, and Smokey River Entertainment District is doing just that. We'll have speakers for you and projects that are going to highlight the need for more cannabis access for our vets and are going to bring you up to speed on what's happening now in our veteran communities with cannabis. I'm excited to see you there. Now, my veterans, run over to vettix.org and get a free ticket while you can. I appreciate all y'all. Stay waxy, and I'll see you September 23rd at Smokey River Entertainment District.
Fair seas and following winds. Reveille is finally available. Learn more at Get Your Ship.
Welcome back to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, brought to you live from the Robust Cannabis Studios at KKID 92.9. Hey, Phil, reach over, hand me that parking lot party thing right here. I want to talk to the folks about this. All right, all you folks that are on the FM, that means you're within a real close distance of what I'm going to talk to you about. And all you cats that are watching on the socials and Facebook and YouTube, you're going to want to come to this anyway. So I want you guys to peep this out. Saturday, September 9th. Right here in the KKID parking lot, we're going to be throwing the KKID parking lot party. Now, we do this every year, and some of you cats were here last year and know that when we throw it down, we do it loud, and we do it with a lot of respect and a lot of fun in the area. So it's a free party. You guys can just come on through. That means if you're living across the street, come on through. If you're living in Illinois, come on through. We're going to have you anyway. Got a great big parking lot. It's sponsored by Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, as well as our friends next door, Colorful Vibes.
Right.
And then you've got some other sponsors as well. We've got Vivid, the Vivid Company, Blue Sage Cannabis Company, and those guys are helping to sponsor. And I know some other cats and friends of yours, The Clear stepped up.
Right.
And Coco.
Right.
Yeah, that's
So
going to be a lot of fun.
Jesse's got a guy coming up doing some barbecue. He's got like a slushy truck. And there's a few other ones also that are coming in and peddling some goods.
But what I want to talk about real quick is the music. This is why I love these things. First off, I'm going to be emceeing the event. I'll be on stage telling you all about these cats as they come up and rock the mic. But first up, we've got an acoustic set by Heath Barrett, which is pretty dope. He's a local here that used to be in a whole bunch of cool bands that I used to rock, and now he's doing this kind of thing, and it's a lot of fun to hear that level of talent out here in the Ozarks.
Right.
Heath's doing that set. We also have Just Another Dead Band. That's Jesse Wheeler, that's your boy, and those guys are going to come in, and they do such a wonderful Grateful Dead set. You know, I've watched them since they first started, and it's expanding in their repertoire and the talent there. It's wild. And then, of course, they're going to close it out with Reverend Pearly Blue and the Temple Soul. Now, John Pratt and his friends are going to come in, and it's one heck of a party when they throw down. From the first time he strums his guitar to the last time, you're hearing some of the best blues and soul rock you've ever heard in your lifetime. So I want you guys to make sure you put that on your calendar. Saturday, September 9th. It's going to start at noon, and it's going to go till 7. That's the part we said about being respectful. We like to close it up a little bit early because people have jobs and like to go to sleep. So we're going to rock out real hard during the day because we're a bunch of old dudes too. So looking forward to that one.
Hey, bedtime's at 9, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm going to bring up some information for you guys too. I want you guys, I have most of this memorized by now, but I want you guys to know what's going on at Smoky River Entertainment District. They are proud sponsors of the Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, as well as BesaMe Hospitality Group and Smoky River Cannabis. We love all those guys. And we especially appreciate all of our sponsors because we couldn't get all this information out and education without their help. So we appreciate that. I want you guys to know about the Missouri Growers Cup. That's happening September 23rd. And I'm telling you right now, it is a Growers Cup. It's where you're going to see a lot of the talent come out of the woodworks here in Missouri, as well as commercial growers. And they're going to go head-to-head in a blind cup to see who does grow the best cannabis in Missouri. Now, the music is off the chain as well. It is headlined by Paul Wall, the people's champ. Paul Wall's dope. He rolls his R's a lot more than I'm able to because I can't do it one time. But there's also some other really rad bands coming up. You got Making Movies. Those guys are really, really cool. 77 Jefferson. They're making their way through the festival circuit right and left, I'm seeing. I'm digging that too. Now you got Soul Rebel and the Beast. Now apparently they're pretty great. I went and looked at some of their videos. It's reggae rock. It's a lot of fun. You got Silent Avenue. You got Maverick. Now Maverick is a independent rapper up in Kansas City who's a good friend of mine as well who does this thing. And then I'm excited about If I Die in Iceland. That's a really cool dude, Nathan Dresfield. He's an amazing dude. Has all kinds of, he brings that sesh culture right to the States. So Smoky River Entertainment District, y'all, it's September 23rd. Make sure you guys are there. I'm going to be hosting and speaking about veterans and veterans' access to cannabis. It's going to be one heck of a party. You guys are going to have a great time. You going to go, Steve?
Yes, absolutely.
Because of Paul Wall?
Well, I want to, again, I just, I want to be there while history is being made.
That's right, man. You're right. Yeah, absolutely. I did walk in earlier though, and Steve was bumping Paul Wall in the production thing. He said I have to figure out who these guys are.
Gotta do your homework.
It's not unlistenable, man. Like for what'd you think? The beats are dope.
Yeah,
the guy's cool. He's from Houston.
I like him.
Yeah, and I went and looked at some of these parties he throws down, and he throws down parties.
Wow,
I'm talking like shutting the beaches down type party, like good time. Awesome stuff. Justin, you going to make it up to Missouri for that one?
I should be able to, yeah.
Oh,
just gotta
Uh-oh. Go ahead.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I should be able to come up for that. I just got my new license plate, so I'll be legal to do that.
Were you not legal before when you came here?
No, so we get the vanity plates down here, and we can do the front ones too. But anyone on the podcast side just saw the amazing Amazon find that I just got to put on the front of my truck.
Oh, he has a license plate that says Cannabis. You're not looking to get pulled over.
Nah.
New Mexico.
Oh man, that is cool. All right, so before we have our representative on, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what Arizona is dealing with. You guys saw they're dealing with some pretty extreme heat up there. We don't need to take a break or anything, right?
No,
okay.
No, you're good.
All right, so they're dealing with some extreme heat up there in Arizona, but weather's weird, right? So when you got extreme heat, you've got extreme other things too. Psychedelic toads invade Arizona after monsoon season kicks in. Looks like hurricane season is not over. The Sonoran desert toad is breeding in Arizona after the monsoon rains. Okay, now this is the big guy. This is the toad everybody talks about, okay? The Sonoran desert toad. Now, he has glands that secrete a venom rich in the hallucinogenics 5-MeO-DMT and bufo. How do you pronounce that? I bet you know.
Bufofamine.
Bufotenin. All right, so it's invading Arizona now that monsoon conditions have kicked in for late summer. Now, these toads are no joke. They measure 7 inches long.
Wow.
They're big. Yeah, they're huge toads, and have a low-pitched croak that inevitably serenades the night in multiple states during hot weather months. Now, local news stations are reporting that a surge in Sonoran desert toad populations. There's a surge now that the rain has started. Okay, reporters focused on the poison danger to pets. Okay, If any of your dogs ever run into these, you know.
There you go for it.
As well as the temptation for teens to try it out for its psychedelic properties. Now, also known as the Sonoran Desert Toad, this amphibian has a pretty mighty punch. That's what news correspondent Andre Resden said. She said what the toad does is it actually secretes a very strong psychedelic compound, and although very dangerous for animals like cats and dogs, using it for a drug for humans is also illegal. So, but I just want to say, if any of my listeners are out there in Arizona, be careful on what you're picking up out there. If you see a 7-inch toad with its eyes a little funnier, I don't know how they really can tell.
You should probably pull up some kind of a picture and post that on your Waxy Brown stuff, just to give people fair warning.
So, if found, return to Waxy.
Right.
So the conspiracy
Having
theory
a party
is
this weekend.
Wear safety glasses, handle with gloves.
Go ahead, Justin.
Is that the Hypnotoad from Futurama, which is back, baby?
Yeah,
Futurama's back, which is awesome.
I think it's the same toad. Yeah.
I never ran across any of those when I lived out there. Thank God.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys a little bit about cookies. You guys know what's going on with cookies?
No. What's
so
up
do you know
with
who
cookies?
the cookies are?
Yes.
So
absolutely.
Burner's brand.
Right. Yeah.
They're in Missouri.
Right.
Go ahead, Justin.
I was thinking chocolate chip is next.
They might have that. Cookies. They might have that strain. Now I'm a huge Burner fan. Burner just played out at Smokey, and cookies are for sale in Missouri if you want to go get them. I think cookies here, if I'm not mistaken, is produced by Good Day Farms. So you can go check those out if you want to. Here's the thing happening though. More cookies investors have sued the cannabis industry darling, claiming the prominent California-based marijuana brand mismanaged their $15 million through multi-million-dollar kickbacks and other self-dealing that benefited company founders at investors' expense. Court documents were filed Monday. It says what could be a more troubling sign for cookies as well as a struggling marijuana industry. They allegedly ran out of money last summer when it missed a key valuation and then burned through most of an additional $23 million raise that they had. They had raised that much money and had issues with that. So it says in those matters, no one's settled. Everything's still pending. But here's what a lot of people are saying, that this could be really, really bad for cookies in a way that this company might not survive that. Cookies does run off investments, most of their business dealings. And with any company, whenever investments go awry, most of the time in other states, they're probably going to look at that as a bad thing. And that's the article, the headline I saw. This is a different article than the other one, but I saw one article that said, is the cookie crumbling? And it sounded like it could be. So very interesting to see. I'm a big fan of those guys. I love have you tried their cannabis, Steve?
Yes.
So it's good. And have you tried their actual, not their strains, not the actual cookie strains, but have you tried from a blue bag from their dispensaries?
No.
I'm telling you now, it's a game changer when you smoke it. It's some really, 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 really good cannabis. Their terp heavy is about it gets.
So when you say that Good Day has got their contract with them, is Good Day doing their grow for them and
Good
putting
Day
it out
produces
under
the cookie,
their cookie brand?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
I need to look that up, but I'm pretty sure that cookies is grown here in the Good Day Farms facilities.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's their genetics.
Right.
That's what they're moving around as genetics.
Gotcha.
It's interesting because some states, to get cookies, you have to go to a cookie store and go to an actual cookies dispensary in states that they have licensing.
Right.
Or in states like Missouri, they'll brand up with someone like a Good Day Farms or something like that and make a cookie store.
Right.
So, and put their cookies out in other dispensaries as well in some states. So pretty wild.
Gotcha.
All right. Looking at that time. All right. So guys, you guys know a little bad news out there for everybody listening. We've been covering the Banking Act here, the Safe Banking Act on the show for a little over day one.
Right.
Okay. So still not a lot of movement. We did just hear that they are not going to be able to pull that off this year. That's what they're saying. They're just not going to be able to pull off the Banking Act by close of business this year. So we have things happening in the industry that aren't safe for the industry. One, people can't go get loans. If I'm an African American person that wants to go out and get a loan in cannabis, I can't go do that, right? I can't do that because the federal government won't allow banks to work with me. So it causes a lot of problems for anyone that's trying to start a small business, which is why we have big canna and such droves in so many states.
Right.
Then we have stuff like this happening. Now, MasterCard just demanded termination of all cannabis purchases on its debit cards. MasterCard heard that they were being used in dispensaries, and this is how they responded. MasterCard has told financial institutions to stop allowing marijuana transactions on its debit cards. That's debit cards. Okay, that's if you have a MasterCard debit card, not their credit card.
Right.
On their debit cards, dealing a blow to an industry already on the fringes of the financial system in the United States. Most banks in the country do not service cannabis companies as marijuana remains illegal at the federal level, despite several states legalizing its medicinal and recreational use. Now, here's the quote. As we were made aware of this matter, this is from MasterCard themselves, they said, as we were made aware of this matter, we quickly investigated it. In accordance with our policies, we instructed the financial institutions that offer payment services to cannabis merchants and connects them to MasterCard to terminate the activity immediately. The federal government considers cannabis sales illegal, so these purchases are not allowed on our systems. So kind of bananas, man. Like, if you think about that, like now you got cash, right? So if you have MasterCard is now demanding that if I have a MasterCard debit card, I got to go pull that cash out in an ATM. Now I'm putting something into an ATM in probably a neighborhood I didn't know that I was going to have to go to an ATM. So it's probably not the best ATM. So that's unsafe for me. Then I have to walk around with all the cash I'm going to need to buy cannabis, which, if I smoke a lot, that's a lot of cash. I smoke a lot. So now I'm walking around with a big old bundle of cash. Okay, then I'm going to the dispensary and I have to pull that cash out in front of more people. And it's like, at what point do you guys want me to get robbed? Like, at what point is MasterCard trying to make it unsafe for Waxy Brown to buy cannabis? That's
what helped?
What?
Shaving your head.
Look, dude.
Staying in a better neighborhood.
You might be right. I don't look nearly as intimidating as you are.
No.
So, Steve's
who's not super intimidating, though?
Who's that?
Representative Tara Lujan from the state of New Mexico.
Oh, okay. Let me give a great big intro real quick. Hey, folks. Often we get some great guests coming from Justin Trowbridge, our hemp guy on the show, doing his thing out of New Mexico. So, Justin, let's give us an intro to your guest, because we're really excited because we love bringing the culture and everything happening from the other states around to our show. So, bring us on.
Yeah, so I met Tara at a committee that I'm on for the 100th burning of Zozobra. So it's kind of a New Mexico tradition. It's pretty wild. It's the OG Burning Man and all that. And one of the meetings, Tara and I went over to the bar in the hotel where this place meets, and I'm like, "Oh, what do you do?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm the state representative for Santa Fe." And I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Oh yeah, I help push through adult use." I'm like, "What?" And I was like, "Will you be on my radio show?" She goes, "Absolutely. I gotta go." I walked over, did a little politicking, came back, and it's like, "When can I get on this radio show?" And I finally got around to pulling the trigger and asking her to join us. So
very cool.
Brought her on, and she's happy to be here, I'm sure. So we'll.
Thank you so much, Representative Tara, for taking time to come on this Cannabis Talk radio show. We get quite a few of our politicians on the show and a couple from other states, but never with this as much exuberant excitement as Justin is here with this one. He's excited because we are too, because New Mexico is making big waves out there with the amount of sales that they have in recreational, as well as changing the lives of a lot of patients out there. So I'm really excited to hear kind of how all this went down. Justin, take the wheel.
Yeah. So Tara, you were just talking about FBI background checks for cannabis licensing. Is that right?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Great. Yes. So I was just on the news. I did a investigative journal report with our famous or infamous Larry Barker, and a piece of legislation that I carried this past year was to have FBI background checks in place for licensure for the state of New Mexico. It was something that was missed. It was part of a piece of legislation that we had, but the language just didn't fit. So then we tried to fix it in 2022, and it didn't get through because it was tied to some other initiatives. And then I just took this simple approach and tried to get it through, and it became part of our criminal package, for leadership in our House of Representatives. And we still weren't able to get it through, and it was bipartisan. It's kind of a no-brainer, right? And so it didn't get through. Got stuck in the House where it started, which is weird because it was a leadership initiative. But Larry wanted to run with us because we've had some reporting done. Some of the investigative work he did was on some the drug cartels.
Very cool.
New Mexico and into our cannabis industry.
Yeah.
In New Mexico, I'm sure one of you can answer this for me. You guys did not use a voter initiative like we did. You used legislation to pass recreational cannabis.
That's correct.
Okay, so I have a couple questions along those lines, if you don't mind, Representative Tara. As you probably know, it takes an average of 7 years for any kind of legislation, and that's an average, to any kind of legislation to go through all of the barriers that it needs to become law. With you guys in cannabis, it did not take that long. What do you think, from your perspective, because you were there, what put the rockets in the pockets and the gas in the butt of all that and made it happen as quickly as it did?
I think the smart thing that we did is we were starting to watch and learn from Colorado, which is a sister border state. That was first. We actually had opportunity. We were looking at it back when they did, and we actually had the opportunity to be the first state to legalize, but we didn't do that because we said let's wait and see. But the next step we took was we went through the medical route. So we went through legislation to legalize a medical use, and so we did that, and so we saw that was it was effective, it was working, and it needed to expand. And then we're watching other states as they are passing their legislation and just looking for best practices and how to implement. And we knew we didn't want to do the ballot initiative because it has its downsides as well. So we went through working through legislation. And so what happened was, this is my third year as a legislator, but I worked 6 years on the Senate side. So when Colorado passed their legislation, I was front and center here, working on other policy, but keeping my eyes on what was going on, so to speak. And then we had two big, or maybe four pieces of legislation. It was my freshman year. It was called our COVID legislation. We were all working from Zoom in isolated places, mostly. So it was really, really complicated to work that way. But what happened was, in that session, it didn't get through. So we had a special session weeks after our regular session, and the governor kind of just pulled the reins on it and said, we got to get this through. And so the decriminalization was important. So we separated out the bill that had made it the furthest. And a lot of what I was running an opposing bill, and so we kind of just meshed it together, and it was really well done, obviously, but we missed that component, that FBI component. We thought we had it in place, but went down to it, the FBI said we can't use this language, we can't work with this language.
Got it. Yeah. Let me ask you another question. So here in Missouri right now, we're going through kind of I would say a flex in our laws. We're about to introduce what we're calling our micro license programs. It's our social equity play here in Missouri. It's meant to help disabled veterans, people who have suffered from poverty, African American and people of brown color who have been harmed by cannabis laws in the past, prohibition. In New Mexico, do you guys have anything along those lines that are a social equity type situation?
We sure do. That was really a big component of the initial work we were trying to legislate, and like I said, we had to work it out through a special session. So then what we did is, during the interim time, which is really the summertime, a lot of our work gets done when we're working in committees. And so what we proposed is we were going to work with what is the New Mexico Finance Authority, which is a quasi-governmental type of entity that we created, and so they're kind of like a banking type.
Access to loans, things like that.
Loans, yeah. So through them, then we worked through that process, and then we implemented through them. We allocated funding so that they could have those loans, those micro loans for micro businesses, specifically with language in place for minorities, minority businesses, small businesses. And I think it was anywhere from they could ask for up to 500,000, 250,000 is kind of the norm that they were getting the loans for, and very low low rates, the lowest rates you could possibly imagine. And so that's how we work through that. And just to be very supportive through the language we put in our legislation to begin with the decriminalization. So we really have focused in on that. And that's something we're still kind of tweaking, to be quite honest with you, because the bigger industry, the bigger dogs came in and they had their play. And one of the things that we're learning is how are we going to tweak that so that we do give access and to these micro businesses, because it's hard for them. It's really hard. So we're still in the learning process. We're 2 years in on that. So we will come back and address it. The other thing we have that I don't think Missouri has a problem with is water. We're in a drought stricken state. So we're looking for better growing methods. So indoor grows are preferable. And I know I'm trying to recall the state that only allows for indoor grow. But
I'm not aware of one, but I'm sure that there are.
The Iowa by default.
Zoning type of thing too, like within a local government. If I could be mistaken, I'm not quite sure on that, but I think we need to move towards that and understanding the water usage, because it's probably one of the biggest issues here in New Mexico.
It is very interesting that I think that what we'll see in New Mexico over the next couple of years, and we've seen some of that already, is folks coming up with alternative ways, ingenuity, the mother of invention, right? So but we've seen a lot of change happening down there. But I do want to kind of ask you kind of touch on a subject that I love to talk about. So I appreciate you bringing it up. And that's the fact that you don't have necessarily in New Mexico the resources to handle the patients, what's going to happen with cannabis over the next few years when everybody's starting to get away from alcohol and cigarettes and moving towards this medicine and this plant. What we're going to see a lot of is what we don't have right now, and that's the ability for other people to handle that problem you have in New Mexico. Interstate commerce is illegal right now because of federal legalities. So when federal government moves out of the way, New Mexico is going to be able to enrich their shelves a lot better and be able to take that great medicine that you're growing in New Mexico and put that in other states as well.
Yeah, that depends on our federal, our Congress, quite honestly. And I know that there's some movement going on, some discussions where they're looking at, I think they're starting with the decriminalization policy initiatives, which is how we should start, right? We need to be very diligent about how we're going to approach this. But we're looking at the federal regulations and what that means to have interstate commerce. We really have to be prepared on the state level as well, because in New Mexico too, we have tribes. And so right now, and when you're talking about the micro businesses and everything, they're left out of the equation as well.
Wow.
So we have to, because of the governance, the federal governance aspect. So they're getting creative. We're being creative. We're looking for ways. I like that you said that, because this is by far not over. We're going to see those policies come forward in the next, I would say the next 5 years.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of federal movement. It'll be interesting, no matter what side of the fence you're on with politics, it'll be interesting from a cannabis aspect to see where cannabis lands with federal taxes, with obviously with scheduling, things like that, because we don't even want it scheduled. And it seems like the term rescheduling scares the bejesus out of me, and I'd rather see it unscheduled. But with folks like you out there doing the work, Representative Tara, our culture and our laws are shifting and changing in a dramatic fashion. I thank you for that.
Yeah,
well,
thank you
Waxy,
for having the show. This is cool.
Yeah, go ahead, Justin.
And when you came down to Lucky Leaf in Albuquerque, one of the first things you said was, look at the diversity in the crowd. I mean, our whole culture down here is so different than what you see in Missouri.
Yeah, we stepped in the room and I stopped and I said, hold on. I said, you guys see what I'm seeing? And I was like, this is the most diverse crowd I've seen in a cannabis event yet.
Yeah, and then because we don't have a ton of water, I think our growers spend more time with each plant, making sure it's got the right ingredients, right everything. So that's where we're starting to see growers like New Mexico Bearded Man has his Tangy head change is 26% terpenes.
Oh,
I mean, the terp levels are coming up. So it's a weird dichotomy, right? We're getting a lot of diversity, but we're also getting a lot of attention to the plant, which is netting this super kind of amazing little ecosphere. So it's great. We have adult use, and we have plenty of people from places like Texas stopping by to check it out.
Now, go ahead.
Who has a hybrid that's drought resistant hybrid for
right
for bud, huh?
Yeah, somebody's got it.
They just found a super bud, they're calling it, that's this purple cannabis plant that is keeping all the bugs and all the nasties off of it by itself without any help. Now, I bet you there's a strain out there that just doesn't take tons of water and things like that. But
there has to be, right? I think this is one of the most researched plants ever.
Well, we have some friends out there called the Dab Dads. They run a really cool podcast out there. We'll get them on that. They'll do a piece on it, I'm sure.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. All right, well, we are running a little bit out of time. We're going to run to a break real quick. Representative Taylor, I want to thank you for being on the show and for everything that you've done in that representative seat of yours, because a lot of folks in those seats don't necessarily accomplish the same thing for our culture that you have. So thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Another quick question is we in Missouri, we can gift cannabis to anyone 21 and up to 3 ounces. Do you guys have any gifting rules in New Mexico? Are you allowed to give away cannabis to your friends?
I
don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think there's a prohibition on that.
If you're able to, what I'd like to do is have you take some of those bags of cannabis and take them up there to the rest of those representatives that need a little bit of help coercing and convincing, because you're doing
now I know where you're coming.
Smoke out the roundhouse is what he wants to do.
Yeah, smoking at the roundhouse. I'll have to think about that, but it is legal. So.
Good. Okay, if you need me to do it, I'll do it too. All right, folks, we are going to take a break. Representative Tara from New Mexico, we appreciate you so much. And Justin, thanks for always bringing on the dopest guests, man. We really appreciate that. You guys are listening to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, brought to you live from the Robust Cannabis Studios at K-Kid 92.9.
Fair seas and following winds. Reveille is finally available. Learn more at getyourshipright.com.
At Robust, we think it's only right you know how the flower you enjoy is cared for and grown. Our process begins by hand-selecting premium genetics for our mother plants. The plants are then cloned and grown to become the strains offered by Robust, like Cali Raisins and Brunch Punch. One of our core growing principles is feed the soil to feed the plant. That's why everything on our facility is grown in living soil, a unique combination of beneficial microbes, worms, and nutrients. Our plants are grown in a high-tech greenhouse built specifically for cannabis. We use the sun's natural light when it's available and supplement with premium LEDs when needed. Every pot at Robust is hand-watered and cared for by individuals on our team of passionate cultivators every single day, so there's always eyes on the plant. Not only that, but Robust is the only kind certified facility in the state of Missouri. Think organic, but for growing cannabis. After 8 to 9 weeks in the grow room, depending on the strain, the flower is ready to be harvested. The plants are chopped and hung to dry in a humidity-controlled room. This process is what brings out the aromas and flavor profile of each distinct strain. After 10 to 14 days of drying, the trichome-covered buds are ready to be cured and set aside for trimming. Once our team hand trims and manicures every bud to remove the imperfections, the cannabis is meticulously weighed and put into our iconic Robust Red, fully recyclable packaging and heat sealed to ensure freshness. And that's what you're about to try now, because even though you know Robust cannabis is sustainable, organic, and all natural, you can't understand the hype until you try it yourself.
At BesaMe Wellness, we're all about supporting the health and well-being of our community. With a wide selection of locally curated medical marijuana products, we'll help find what works best for you. Don't have a card? Let us help navigate the application process. And if you can't make it to one of our 5 convenient locations, we'll even deliver to your door. Visit us in-store or online at besamewellness.com.
The secrets of Kung Fu are founded on 5 elements. Focus. Remain like a cobra, ready to strike. Energy. Be like a volcano, overflowing with energy. Endurance. Be as water. Continue to flow. Matching the vibe.
Huh?
Get in the zone. Getting weird. Let your freak flag fly high. Wait, this isn't the secrets of Kung Fu. It's what happens when you take Captain Crossfade. Party harder for longer with THCV and CBC. Take it with THC and stay in the zone way longer. Make any night one to remember. Wow, this is good stuff. Captain Crossfade, get lifted while you go bananas.
Hey everybody, it's Waxy Brown from Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour. I'm excited to talk to you about Missouri Growers Cup happening September 23rd at Smoky River Entertainment District, hosted by Ungayo Bilam from Netflix's Cooking on High. I'm excited to team up with the Smoky River team and the Missouri Growers Cup team to highlight our veterans at a time when our veterans need highlighted most. As a Navy veteran, I was taught that if one shipmate was sick, the whole ship was sick, and I believe that to this day. We have a responsibility to help our veteran friends and families, and Smoky River Entertainment District is doing just that. We'll have speakers for you and projects that are going to highlight the need for more cannabis access for our vets and are going to bring you up to speed on what's happening now in our veteran communities with cannabis. I'm excited to see you there. Now, my veterans, run over to vettix.org and get a free ticket while you can. I appreciate all y'all. Stay waxy, and I'll see you September 23rd at Smoky River Entertainment District. Hey everybody, welcome back to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, that show where sometimes you'll hear us cough. All right, I'd like to welcome a very special friend to the program, and I'd like to thank him for his service in front of everybody here today. We've got Colonel Todd Scatini on, the hemp colonel. Todd, how are you today?
I'm good. How you doing, Waxy?
I'm always good when I get to hear from you, my friend.
Likewise.
So, welcome back to the show. I think it's like your 3rd or 4th time, maybe. Quite a few.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll keep
it. Been a while, though.
Yeah. So I want to talk about a few things that you've got going on, because you sure do have a lot going on, and all of it is beneficial to 2 things: veterans and our cannabis culture. So I want to get into a few things that you've got happening on your side of the neighborhood. Sure. A lot of friends of mine just went to an event out there in Kansas City where you built a doghouse with the veteran community project. Can you tell us a little bit about how that came to fruition? Because man, we sure do want to see so much of that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, thank you. So I started a nonprofit called Hemp for Victory, and
big fans on the Flower Power Hour.
Yeah, baby. And so we you can find us at hemp4victory.info. And essentially, we have created a nonprofit and built an incredible advisory board that now includes a Medal of Honor recipient, general officers, Harvard-trained doctors, all of us veterans, by the way. And the goal of our organization is to really start and anchor the conversation about hemp and cannabis and the military and the veteran community all in one area, right? And we're really trying to anchor it right here in the Midwest because we've got so much to go on, especially in the Kansas City area. If you consider, when I cross State Line Avenue from Kansas City, Missouri into Kansas City, Kansas, I'm automatically a criminal. And so what we're trying to do is kind of spark and capture the imagination of military leadership and give them the vocabulary to have the conversation, right? And the space to have the conversation. We talk about everything from industrial hemp all the way to the adult use of cannabis and what it means, right? And what the opportunity is within there. One of the main things in terms of industrial hemp, and I know we don't talk about that too much on the show, but industrial hemp is an aspect of the plant that we're putting forward as a potential for post-conflict reconstruction in Ukraine.
Which I want to touch on that for a second, but I also want to make it real clear that we love talking about industrial hemp on this show. That's what Justin does, is he brings us all kinds of folks from the hemp side, and it's so for our listeners out there, this is amazing to hear because we all know what's happening in Ukraine. We also know that Ukraine just legalized cannabis for folks to use. Was that medical or recreational, Todd?
Medical, and I don't know if it's fully passed just yet, but I do know that President Zelensky is asking he wants medical cannabis. He recognizes that Ukrainians will be suffering from generational PTSD, right, and addressing really complex war injuries, both among the military, veteran, and civilian population, and knows that cannabis is a tool that can really be used well to address that.
And I'll get further information on that, but I believe it did. They did. We covered it last week on the show. They did pass the legalization efforts there, and I think it was going to Zelensky's desk is what was happening there.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you a question. Do you know, just because I'm curious, do you know how many years of service you guys have on your board for Hemp for Victory?
I don't know, but it's got to be in the hundreds for sure.
I would love to know that number because I'll tell you what, when you look at the board for Hemp for Victory, right, you really are looking at heroes on there. And so I've been in the service, I'm a veteran, and Todd can tell you the same thing. There's folks that will step up on the front line, and there's folks that will push the paperwork in the back to make sure that you step. But these are all frontline people, and these are people who are going to, if you think about what we did in the service, they're doing the exact same thing now. There's folks that can't fight for themselves, so these folks are stepping up to ensure that fight continues and that we have nothing but wins on this side of the fence. So big shout out to Hemp for Victory for what they do.
Thank you. Yeah, and hey, can I bring up another thing that we're doing? So we demonstrated how to build using hemp last week by building a hempcrete doghouse. It seems so simple, right? But there's something I find very poetic about teaching people who perhaps were unhoused at one point how to build shelter using this plant. But it was really a demonstration so that leaders could have context about how to use hempcrete and all of the benefits of it, being mold, mildew, pest, and fire resistant, and the fact that it sucks in and holds carbon at the rate of 100 kilograms per cubic meter is a big deal, right? So we're proposing post-conflict reconstruction and development in a completely different manner that could address things like climate change, and energy consumption. So it's a fascinating thing.
It makes me wonder because so much of the reason that we don't have as much, and we do need more progression in industrial hemp usage here in the United States of America, but so much of that is because we have so many rules and everything has to be rated a certain way to be used as lumber or concrete or this, that, and the other. Todd, do you know if any of those restrictions and rules exist where you're talking about there in Ukraine and things like that?
No, actually, they're already building hempcrete structures in Ukraine, and actually on our board of advisors. It doesn't quite show up on our website just yet, but on our board of advisors now is a gentleman named Sergey Kovalenko, who is probably one of the world's most renowned hempcrete builders, and he's building hempcrete structures in Ukraine now to house wounded veterans as well as those who've been displaced by this unjust war.
Oh, I'm going to have him on the show. That would be an amazing conversation. Very cool. So Hemp for Victory, one of the things that I like that you guys have been doing too is I know we have some friends who you've given grow equipment to, and I don't know if that's something you guys really brag about, but I want to brag a little for you. Part of what I love about Hemp for Victory, and as they grow, I bet you Todd's going to tell us that more of this can happen. They gave some grow equipment, some everything to get growing to some veterans out there. The reason I love that the most is a good reason for that is to save a veteran money, right? Because most disabled veterans are on a fixed income, can't afford to go to the dispensary every other day. Well, that's how much I would like to go to the dispensary. But one of the things that they're doing is helping these people get plant therapy, and that's part of what's happening there. Is those folks are getting some plant therapy there.
Yeah, what I was trying to demonstrate there is the deployability of agriculture and the benefit that this plant and growing other plants can provide to people in terms of their mental health and wellness. So we gave away 4 tents in Missouri where they're growing weed, and we gave away 4 tents in Kansas where they're growing whatever they want, but mostly vegetables or whatnot. And we've got 12 more to give away, right? And this was sponsored by Grow Generation, which is one of the largest suppliers of hydroponics in the country. They asked me, they said, hey, if I gave you a bunch of grow tents, what would you do with them? And I said, I'd give them away to veterans, and hopefully save some lives. And I tell you what, they all send me pictures of just some fire ass weed that they're growing.
Well, two things. We're on the FM, so we can't cuss. And Justin, we got to give the station ID.
KK99 Salem Raw. Sorry, just real quick because I want to get back to Todd.
Okay,
does that
go
count?
back. Yep, absolutely.
Is that compliant?
Yes, it is.
Todd, you touched on something. I want to repeat the words that you just said. You said you wanted to get those grow tents into the hands of veterans so that you could save some lives. I know you personally. Everyone on the show, that all my co-hosts, we know you. We know how important that is to you. What is your mission here, Todd? Because I've seen you help in so many different ways that now you're dialing in with Hemp for Victory and these other things. It's wonderful to see. But what is your mission here, brother?
Well, really, it's to bring awareness. It's I want the VA to buy my weed.
Right.
No. I mean, I want veterans.
He wants the VA not to buy the weed from him, but to buy the weed for him.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, I really want this to be seen as a major option for veterans to address everything from chronic pain to insomnia, depression, anxiety, all these symptoms of post-traumatic stress, and help pull people away from the pharmaceutical bottles and the actual alcohol bottle, right, which is really killing veterans at a much higher rate than anything we know, and bring this into the mainstream, right, and make this our greatest American industry, right, like we've had in the past.
Yeah, it's interesting. You bring up alcohol, and a lot of folks, we think about cannabis as an exit drug from things like opioids is the big one we talk about. But that's the trend, isn't it, Todd? People are stepping away from alcohol and they're going towards cannabis. It's a little different when we talk about the vets, isn't it, though? People trending towards cannabis and away from alcohol isn't necessarily happening as quickly as we want it to with the veterans, because we're trained to drink in the military. We're trained to get off that boat or that plane and step into that 3-day leave in Thailand or Japan or wherever it is. And where's the first place we go? To the pub with all our friends, right? So like that's part of it too, is we kind of have to untrain a whole population as well as give an alternative, and you're really helping to do that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really been inculcated into our culture and our society. Right? We're when you get promoted, you do the wetting down of your stripes and all of that. And are you even celebrating if you're not hammered or hungover the next morning? Did you even celebrate that promotion? Is kind of the thing. So I'm trying to bring it into the mainstream of our culture. And one of the ways we're trying to do that is through veteran service organizations, right? Like American Legion, VFW, and help them to understand that there's a potential have social consumption in those spaces rather than, a bunch of, that traditional old line of old veterans lined up at the bar, sucking down Budweisers and telling lies to one another, because we know that that's killing us.
Yeah, and we also know that there's 3 or 4 of those veterans that are already nowadays having to go out to their car or behind the building to consume. And really, we need a spot there inside where we can, consume either, our own THC drinks, which would be absolutely phenomenal and wonderful. If I walked into a VFW today and they had cannabis drinks, I'd flip my wig and I probably would have a hard time leaving. And not because I'm drunk, because I'm freaking out. So that's what we need more of,
Yeah,
Like-
that and education, right? Education in there so that veterans can understand, how to consume cannabis, when to consume cannabis, and all of the different methods of administration. And they have to know that, you don't have to get high when you're using cannabis. There's all kinds of different ways to use it. I mean, it's funner if you do, but they should know all of the options.
Yeah. So we don't have very much time left, and I kind of want to let you talk for a minute about what you've got going on with the micro license season that's happening here in Missouri. I know you teamed up with a group and helped some folks, including a friend of mine, Brennan England, get involved with the micro license situation. What's been going on with you guys? What do you guys got going on there?
Yeah, so that's as my company Harvest 360. We're a full service cannabis consulting firm. We write licenses and applications for people across the country. We've been doing this for about 6 years and had success in about 10 different states at this point. So when the Missouri micro license opportunity came out with the advent of adult use legalization, we partnered up with Belief and created a program called Belief in Equity, which is an accelerator. We put the word out saying that we're looking for teams who are trying to apply for micro licenses, but maybe need a little bit of help. I interviewed probably 20 different teams. We picked the top 6. I wish I could have picked them all because they were amazing, but we picked the top 6, and we'll give them all of the services that Harvest 360 includes, as well as legal services to make sure that everything that they're doing is compliant. Belief is paying that $1,500 application fee for them.
Nice.
So they get to throw their hat in the ring.
Belief is awesome, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're OG in the Missouri market. They were one of the first original 2 CBD licenses back in the day, and now they're fully vertically integrated. And for any of these integrated companies or the big boys who are out there right now, this is an opportunity. They've set the example. They've set the standard. And, they could have easily stood back and said, hey, we got ours, y'all can get yours. But they said, hey, we're going to help these guys who've been incarcerated or disabled as military veterans, or if you live in a community where, arrest rates are 50% higher than the rest of Missouri. And we're doing it. So we've picked all 6 teams now. We're in the throes of helping them, capturing all of their data so that we can submit their licenses. But we do this as well all across the state. And you can find that at harvest360.co/contact and reach out to us, because the clock is ticking. August 10th is the last day to submit these licenses and applications. And what we're also doing, by the way, is identifying properties that are compliant, where we can stack those applications on and have a higher possibility that they'll win.
Yeah, that's dope. I really, no matter what side of the fence you are on with recreational, medicinal, all that, we do want the folks that deserve these licenses to get them in their hands. I know that this is the right play for Missouri, and you guys are doing an awesome job with it.
Thank you. Yeah, and we're also setting up shop at a place called Gift KC, which is on Prospect Avenue in Kansas City, and it's a Black entrepreneur hub where I'm going to set up next week and the following week and the following week, so that people can come in and ask questions and try to get an understanding of what it takes. Because, not a lot of people understand this, and we've seen it in so many different markets. We're here to help and hopefully get licenses for as many people as possible.
That's the trick too. Somebody going into this needs to understand, what happens on the other side of October if you win a license, because it certainly isn't just open a door and go. There's so much to this that having a team like yours is helpful.
Thank you.
Awesome stuff. All right, folks, we better take a break. Steve's been yelling at me for the last 30 seconds.
I have not.
I know, I'm just kidding. Hey. Colonel Todd Scatini, we really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks,
and
Todd.
always look forward to it.
Thank you, sir. I got to bounce. I'm going to be on a panel at Rutgers Law tonight, so I got to go get all spiffied up.
Yeah, I was going to be on there too, but I got stuff going on. Make a burrito.
I'll mention you for sure, man.
All right, stay waxy, Todd. We appreciate you. Hey, everybody, you're listening to the dopest show on the FM, the Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, brought to you live from the Robust Cannabis Studios at K-Kid 92.9.
Fair seas and following winds. Reveille is finally available. Learn more at getyourshipright.com.
At BesaMe Wellness, we're all about supporting the health and well-being of our community. With a wide selection of locally curated medical marijuana products, we'll help find what works best for you. Don't have a card? Let us help navigate the application process. And if you can't make it to one of our 5 convenient locations, we'll even deliver to your door. Visit us in-store or online at besamewellness.com.
Chess is the perfect metaphor for business. You have to consider every angle before you move. You and your opponent have the same rules to follow. Not now, Michelle. I'm recording this ad right now. No, I didn't pick up that cheese you like. Well, I didn't see it when I was at the store. What is that in your hand? Oh, this is that fire concentrate we got the other day? Hell yes, I'll do a dab with you. Why didn't you just say that? Oh, this is still recording. Check out the creative minds at Route 66 Labs. Obama. Out.
Here we have a prime example of a macaque. His name is Marcus. This particular macaque is bored. He's tired of the same old concert experience. Us too, little buddy. Well, you're in luck, Marcus. Introducing Captain Crossfade. A blend of THCV and CBC, this drink is the life of the party. Energy and focus, as well as an, enhanced experience with other consumables. Marcus is now ready to party all night long. Look at him go. Brought to you by Waxy Brown.
We think it's only right you know how the flower you enjoy is cared for and grown. Our process begins by hand-selecting premium genetics for our mother plants. The plants are then cloned and grown to become the strains offered by Robust, like Cali Raisins and Brunch Punch. One of our core growing principles is feed the soil to feed the plant. That's why everything on our facility is grown in living soil, a unique combination of beneficial microbes, worms, and nutrients. Our plants are grown in a high-tech greenhouse built specifically for cannabis. We use the sun's natural light when it's available and supplement with premium LEDs when needed. Every pot at Robust is hand-watered and cared for by individuals on our team of passionate cultivators every single day, so there's always eyes on the plant. Not only that, but Robust is the only kind certified facility in the state of Missouri. Think organic, but for growing cannabis. After 8 to 9 weeks in the grow room, depending on the strain, the flower is ready to be harvested. The plants are chopped and hung to dry in a humidity-controlled room. This process is what brings out the aromas and flavor profile of each distinct strain. After 10 to 14 days of drying, the trichome-covered buds are ready to be cured and set aside for trimming. Once our team hand trims and manicures every bud to remove the imperfections, the cannabis is meticulously weighed and put into our iconic Robust Red, fully recyclable packaging and heat sealed to ensure freshness. And that's what you're about to try now, because even though you know Robust cannabis is sustainable, organic, and all natural, you can't understand the hype until you try it yourself.
The secrets of Kung Fu are founded on 5 elements. Focus, remain like a cobra ready to strike. Energy, be like a volcano overflowing with energy. Endurance, be as water, continue to flow, matching the vibe. Get in the zone. Getting weird, let your freak flag fly high. Wait, this isn't the secrets of Kung Fu. It's what happens when you take Captain Crossfade. Party harder for longer with THCV and...
Hey everybody, welcome back to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, brought to you live from the Robust Cannabis Studios, K-Kid 92.9. We are back and we've got some more cannabis culture for your enjoyment. Let's bring on our friends Ashton Carr from Clear Cannabis and Andy Bird from Coco. What's up, fellas?
How we doing, guys? How's it going?
Awesome. I heard you guys were in the neighborhood. I wasn't down here, but Steve said he ran into you guys, so it's really cool to have you guys on the show today. Appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, I kidnapped them from the parking lot.
They were over Trinity. Who does that, man? He'll sit out there with his lasso and grab you guys.
That's right. We thought he was another person just trying to get free stuff out of us, and then he treated us to a nice afternoon.
Don't get it twisted. He's a radio guy that was trying to get free stuff out of you. That's the gig, man.
Oh, it's all about the exposure, right, you guys?
So I'm a big fan of both companies, guys. I'm a big fan of Coco and the Clear. So let's talk a little bit, if you guys don't mind. First, let's take this one at a time. I want to take a quick. I do this at every show, but let's start with you, Ashton. I always like to ask this quick question. Ashton, how'd you run into cannabis? How did you get to where you are in your life right now? Why is it there for you?
So I grew up in Salem, Missouri, if you guys knew that. So yeah. Pretty close to Raleigh over there. And, I just thought living in Salem, there really wasn't a whole lot of jobs. So I ended up moving.
Hold on, Ashton. I have to stop you. If this is going to come down to a time that I sold you a bag down there, we'll talk about that.
No.
Go ahead then. Go ahead.
So I ended up moving to St. Joseph, and I really had a unique experience because I got a job with the Department of Corrections, and I worked in solitary confinement, or they call ADSEG.
That's how we know each other.
Yeah. I did that for 3 years, and then after it, you see what it does to people, and then even being in that environment, it just depressed me. So I got a job working at Coco dispensaries in Chillicothe, and then ended up getting this job with the Clear because Coco manufactures for the Clear in Missouri. So
very, very cool. Well, I just want to say that's very intense. I did a little bit of time in solitary when I was in jail, and we can talk about that offline too, but it is not a pleasant place to be. And I'll be very honest, like I'm an intelligent enough person to see what those guards were dealing with when they had to deal with us. And it wasn't pleasant. It's not fun. And it's not fun to either see people suffering or have to deal with the the pushback that you would have received, because I saw it firsthand.
Absolutely.
Wild stuff, man. Well, thank you so much for what you're doing.
Absolutely.
In the industry now, because we really appreciate you. Now, Andy, I'm going to ask you the same question. What's your path to cannabis look like, my friend?
My path to cannabis was long, that's for sure. So, I mean, I spent 16, 17 years working as a chef in restaurants, everything from fine dining to country clubs to fast casual. Once I had my first kid, my wife kind of gave me the ultimatum, said, I need you home more, you know? So I actually transitioned into selling produce to restaurants, and sold produce throughout Missouri to restaurants for a Kansas City-based produce company. And honestly, I was really happy doing that. I would have never left had it not been for cannabis. So I really, I took about 2 years to kind of try to find my place in the cannabis world. And luckily I landed with Coco, and the rest is history.
That's a cool team, man.
Just another form of
sales.
Sales and
produce.
Produce.
Yeah, exactly.
It ain't the devil's lettuce, it's the Lord's loud.
That's
y'all.
right.
It's
There
the
you
Lord's
go.
loud. All right.
Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about. We got to give a nod here and talk a little bit about Coco and the Clear, because Coco really, they're doing their thing with the. I've experienced quite a few of Coco's extracts. The Clear, I've not yet ran into the Clear yet. I want to, but I can't remember. It was like with Coco back in the day. I had it was an alien rock candy, I think is what I had, something like that.
Sure.
It was absolutely delicious. What do you guys have going on now? If you guys are both in sales, correct?
We are. So obviously I work directly with Coco, Ashton's with the Clear. Coco has a lot of things going on right now. We recently sold our dispensary, so we focused solely on our manufacturing now. We've got a new ownership team currently, with the original ownership team still in the management roles. So literally nothing has changed. We merged with the company called Dark Horse Medicinals.
Oh, right.
They were the same size as us. We were doing very similar things. It made sense to join forces. So,
one of the things I love about Coco is the branding. I love that simple black and white branding, because it's easy to spot on a shelf, and I'm not looking at anything that's obscenely, one way, targeting. It's not bright and crazy, and they don't need a lot because their products are great. And that's what I like to see out there, is that simpler branding like that.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I connected with in the early stages with them. I mean, I was lucky enough to be in a position where I could kind of, make the decision who I wanted to work for, so to speak. Yeah. So it allowed me to be able to connect with that. It's a family-owned company. It was started by a family that, the original family was in the grocery business. The kids wanted to carry on the family business under another flag. So, I think Missouri does a really good job of supporting hyper local things, and I think that's played in our favor.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the products. What are some of your favorites that, and I want to know because right now everything's kind of selling. We have an adult use market where, there's kind of they call it a shortage, but really it's kind of a flux right now. Right. So what are some of the products that are just absolutely flying faster than you can get them? And what's your favorite?
I mean, currently my personal favorite are our extracts, hands down. It's my favorite product we do. I think I think that a lot of times we don't get the credit that we deserve, in my opinion. So I always try to get our extracts into everyone's hands. That being said, I mean, obviously it's a flower heavy market right now. We don't cultivate our own flower, but we do produce an infused pre-roll under the Clears label. So that's definitely a product that, is just flying off the shelves.
Right. I haven't had that yet either. Does that come in like a 5-pack, or how do you guys do that?
So it's a single 1 gram cigarette style pre-roll. That's the uniqueness about it that I like. With that cigarette style roll, you get a real kind of a large opening, and especially with an infused pre-roll,
like a big draw.
A lot of the cones you get down to the end, and there's so much resin you just can't even pull off of them.
Yeah, we have 1,000 half cones in the back, because
yeah,
which is great. It's great cannabis. It does that.
You said it was an infused pre-roll.
Correct. So we're using whole bud, grinding it, and from my restaurant days, basically the contraption that we use is what I call a candy coater. So we're throwing the bud into a basically a metal machine that tumbles it, and then you spray it with the distillate.
Okay.
So the unique thing with the Twax pre-rolls is they are modeled after the Clear's botanical terpene profile. So we have a grapevine, we have a banana cream, we have a blueberry, and then we have a lemon haze. So they're all effect-based and kind of based off of that Clear.
I'm always chasing that good one for sleep. Which one am I wanting?
Dude, I love the blueberry. That's definitely our indica leaning one, as well as the grapevine. But me and Ashton here are definitely we're fans of the blueberry for sure.
Blueberry all day.
So describe so that everyone's on the same path when you say it's a cigarette style rolled.
Yeah, so I mean, basically, I mean, it is rolled just like a cigarette. You don't have any tapering at all to the joint itself. So
like an unfiltered.
It just looks like a
exactly. I mean, it's like if you took an unfiltered Camel and stuck a crutch in the end.
Yeah,
that's kind of where you're at.
So that's kind of how like a machine roll looks when you have like those little
right. Yeah, like a zigzag machine roller or something.
Exactly.
Like that. Right. Yeah. I'm not a fan of the cones because they were talking about how that's the most
perfect. They call it scientifically.
And it's like time out here.
They did a study.
First of all, they're not rolling it. They're stuffing it. Okay.
Right.
I can roll a pretty mean cone.
You can roll a pretty mean cone.
Well, he actually rolls a cone. You can roll a cone, you
can roll a cone,
but not like these pre-stuffed ones. But that's pretty wild, man. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about the Clear then, because I have not ran into the Clear yet because I've been really jumping towards a lot of the Buoyant Bob stuff and all that lately because I'm exploring those brands. But I'd love to hear more about what the Clear's got going on.
Okay, so the Clear, so we make the Twax infused pre-rolls like Andy had just mentioned. We also do fast acting gummies. We have a strawberry watermelon gummy, which has THC and CBG. They're both going to be 100 milligrams in them. We also have a peaches and cream. That one's got CBN, CBD, and THC, all 100 milligrams. And then we have a tropical coconut, THC only, 100 milligrams. And then we also specialize in vapes. I would say that's our big specialty.
Yeah, nice. I know that's what I see the most of your guys' products are your you guys have got the disposables out, right?
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah, those I can imagine those are pretty fire too.
Yeah, we'll get you hooked up, man.
That's what's up. You said you get them in everybody's hands. I have 2 of them. So
that's called the double date.
Tell me real quick. I'm real curious. When you say botanical terps, can you kind of tell me what you got going on there?
So could you be a little bit more specific botanical terp wise? So, I mean, really, if I was to tell you, so really what we wanted to do with the Clear, so we don't really get into the whole indica hybrid sativa thing. So as far as like the Golden Goat profile, for example, I'm not going to act like I'm an expert and can tell you exactly all the terpenes that are going to come in Golden Goat and the exact ratios, but those terpenes associated with those sativa effects, we refer to that as like a daytime. And then we also have our night times like grapevine. So the botanical terps used in those will be, to help induce sleep and relaxation. And like the hybrids will give you that even feel.
There you go.
And that's what I want my listeners. Ingenious. Yeah, that's what I want my listeners to know right there is that the Clear, they're not going to be, they're not keeping it simple. Like they're not, that's not the way to put it. They're not complicated. What they're not doing is going down that old road. They're discussing terpenes, they're botanical terps, effects of terpenes.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I love to see in companies out there and folks out there that are getting this medicine in the hand of patients is, so many things cause these effects that we're looking for besides just the high THC or the word hybrid sativa or indica. That's last year, man. The Clear, they know what we're looking for.
Well, yeah, and botanicals too. I mean, just having knowledge of them and what they do is very important because, if you're a person who might have a certain sensitivity to a certain, terpene, if you have no knowledge of what terpenes are, it's going to be pretty hard for you to identify what's causing those issues, you might not be able to get the exact medication that you need to help best treat whatever you're trying to treat,
and some people think it's in the sativa or it's in the indica when it's really not. It's the terps that are in that plant that are giving you. I mean, you hear like, oh, I got a sativa, I can't smoke it because of it. You know, it makes me nervous. It's like it really not could be the sativa.
I instantly, that was the conversation I always, whenever I'd hit the plug up, I don't want anything sativa, all indicas. And nowadays, I feel like if I even start to say that, I'm like, man, I haven't been listening to the Flower Power Hour the right way.
Well, I mean, I think it's been so programmed in a lot of us that it's hard for even us in the industry to shed that mentality, even if in our own head we understand it, but when it comes out of your mouth, it's sometimes just a lot easier to just throw it into a class, Yeah,
and even from like a consumer standpoint, like some people are still so in that way of thinking, in that frame of mind, that sometimes you have to, to make it a little more simplistic, you still got to kind of refer to things as indica, hybrid, sativa, but it's slowly but surely it's getting away from that, and it's good to see. So
yeah. Excuse me. On the clear vapes, you said that's one of your products you're really, really known for. Which one am I going to dig on, man? Which one do I want to get?
So it's just a few seconds ago, I think I heard you say you were leaning toward a lot of indica products, right?
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah. So I would say blueberry is always, that's my favorite one personally. Grapevine's a really good one. What's your favorite one, Andy?
Honestly, the dark horse, probably the orange cream.
Okay.
That's one that doesn't get talked about a lot, but I feel like it's just such a smooth flavor.
We'll talk about it. Matter of fact, Justin, I'm going to get you these guys' email. You send them. We can talk about doing one of those Waxy Brown reviews on
yeah, for sure.
Let's do it. One thing I did want to mention too. So if you're more into like an earthy type of strain, we do also have OG, and I think we do a really good job emulating the taste of OG. So that's a really good indica one as well.
Very nice.
Very cool. All right. Well, I really appreciate you guys coming on. You guys going to be at the Missouri Growers Cup at Smoky River this year?
I think we've been talking about maybe entering some product in. So
there you go.
I'm based out of KC, so anything that Smoky River does, I try to be around. I do business with them on their dispensary side of things. So I try to support them as much as I can. And on that note, I picked up some of their cold cured here a few days ago, and it's incredible if you haven't tried it.
Yeah, Andy, you just want to go win the cup. Come on.
Yeah, go win it, man. We want you to.
All right, guys. Well, we really appreciate you coming on. I know we'll be talking soon, and we'll be seeing you on September 9th. You guys are going to come up and set up a tent and
absolutely. We look forward to it. We're gonna bring some swag out. Maybe work on setting up a deal for some of your people and in the dispensary, and get a good deal on some clear cocoa products. And
well, we're here for you guys. I appreciate you guys coming on. Everybody, make sure you guys go and check out those products that they're talking about, because we are talking about some really high grade cannabis out there, and they're doing it right. Appreciate you guys very much.
Thank you guys. We appreciate it.
Right on. Stay waxy,
guys.
All right. So we are going to catch a break. When we get back, I'm going to have Dr. Bridget Cole Williams on the show, and we're going to talk about a new book that you'll be able to get off Amazon and on Walmart. And it's called Courage in Cannabis, Volume 2. I feel very blessed to be in this book and get to experience with all these rock stars. So we're going to bring on the lady who made it happen for everybody. So really cool stuff. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick one. I need to take a dab. You're listening to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour, brought to you live from the Robust Cannabis Studios at KKID 92.9.
Fair seas and following winds. Reveille is finally available. Learn more at getyourshipright.com.
At Robust, we think it's only right you know how the flower you enjoy is cared for and grown. Our process begins by hand-selecting premium genetics for our mother plants. The plants are then cloned and grown to become the strains offered by Robust, like Cali Raisins and Brunch Punch. One of our core growing principles is feed the soil to feed the plant. That's why everything on our facility is grown in living soil, a unique combination of beneficial microbes, worms, and nutrients. Our plants are grown in a high-tech greenhouse built specifically for cannabis. We use the sun's natural light when it's available and supplement with premium LEDs when needed. Every pot at Robust is hand-watered and cared for by individuals on our team of passionate cultivators every single day, so there's always eyes on the plant. Not only that, but Robust is the only kind certified facility in the state of Missouri. Think organic, but for growing cannabis. After 8 to 9 weeks in the grow room, depending on the strain, the flower is ready to be harvested. The plants are chopped and hung to dry in a humidity-controlled room. This process is what brings out the aromas and flavor profile of each distinct strain. After 10 to 14 days of drying, the trichome-covered buds are ready to be cured and set aside for trimming. Once our team hand trims and manicures every bud to remove the imperfections, the cannabis is meticulously weighed and put into our iconic Robust Red, fully recyclable packaging and heat sealed to ensure freshness. And that's what you're about to try now, because even though you know Robust cannabis is sustainable, organic, and all natural, you can't understand the hype until you try it yourself.
At BesaMe Wellness, we're all about supporting the health and well-being of our community. With a wide selection of locally curated medical marijuana products, we'll help find what works best for you. Don't have a card? Let us help navigate the application process. And if you can't make it to one of our 5 convenient locations, we'll even deliver to your door. Visit us in-store or online at besamewellness.com.
The secrets of Kung Fu are founded on 5 elements. Focus, remain like a cobra ready to strike. Energy, be like a volcano overflowing with energy. Endurance, be as water, continue to flow, matching the vibe. Get in the zone. Getting weird, let your freak flag fly high. Wait, this isn't the secrets of Kung Fu. It's what happens when you take Captain Crossfade. Party harder for longer with THCV and CBC. Take it with THC and stay in the zone way longer. Make any night one to remember. Wow, this is good stuff. Captain Crossfade, get lifted while you go bananas.
Hey everybody, it's Waxy Brown from Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour. I'm excited to talk to you about Missouri Growers Cup happening September 23rd at Smoky River Entertainment District, hosted by Ungayo Bilam from Netflix's Cooking on High. I'm excited to team up with the Smoky River team and the Missouri Growers Cup team to highlight our veterans at a time when our veterans need highlighted most. As a Navy veteran, I was taught that if one shipmate was sick, the whole ship was sick, and I believe that to this day. We have a responsibility to help our veteran friends and families, and Smoky River Entertainment District is doing just that. We'll have speakers for you and projects that are going to highlight the need for more cannabis access for our vets and are going to bring you up to speed on what's happening now in our veteran communities with cannabis. I'm excited to see you there. Now, my veterans, run over to vettix.org and get a free ticket while you can. I appreciate all y'all. Stay waxy, and I'll see you September 23rd at Smoky River Entertainment District. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour.
That one was for you, Waxy.
I know,
Some
right?
Mountain Sprout. Right?
That was Mountain Sprout. We love those guys. All right, welcome back to the program. The program that's about grams. All right, here we go. So we got Dr. Bridget Cole-Williams going to be on in just a few moments to talk about the Courage in Cannabis book. But I'd like to talk about a little something before we do that, and that's a new product we've got out called Reveille. Justin, you want to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, so a lot of people will probably remember. Actually, you guys can hear me, right?
Yeah, we got you.
It's something that we were playing around with at the beginning of the year, and some things kind of fell through, so we kind of picked it back up, ran with it, partnered up with some good endocannabinoid specialists, and kind of reformulated, regrouped, and we now have. Wait, let me get my little bottle here. Reveille is finally getting ready to come out. It's a little tiny bottle. Let's see if I can hold up to the camera for everyone on the digital side. There you go. But before, it was a big 50 ml shot, kind of like our Captain Crossfade, which I got one somewhere. So we had the big 50 ml drink to take a pull on that. Now we're down to this little tiny bottle that's super easy. Stick it in your pocket, stick it in your purse.
It's adorable.
It's so cute. But it's all natural. It's organic. It's terpenes, and I mean, it's all kinds of good stuff here. The science eludes me, but it is something that is that parachute for when you overconsume and you need to back out.
Yeah.
So
if you look at what's happening now across the country, we have consumption lounges. Just right here, I've got an article that in Vegas they're about to open the LA Lounge LLC, and it's going to be their first cannabis lounge there. When you have cannabis lounges, you're going to have something to help somebody if they overconsume. Just like, if someone overconsumes alcohol, it's a tough road.
Right.
You got vomiting and all this nasty stuff, blah, blah. Well, cannabis, it can be kind of gnarly for someone. You can get spins, and
if someone eats a little bit more gummy than they should have, especially the people that are now getting into the phase of it and not really knowing what their tolerance levels are and stuff. So you got to be careful. It's always.
And what Reveille is
consume in moderation.
Yeah. Reveille is I'm calling it a reverse edible. That's what it really is. It comes down to it. It takes you away from too much of a high if you've got that going on. So for a guy like me, maybe I did consume a lot and it's 8 p.m. and I'm supposed to party till noon. I might just start over. You know what I mean? And start to consume more. So
you're partying for like another
I don't know.
So
from 8 p.m. till noon.
Till noon, yeah.
That little bottle, what's the dosage would you recommend for someone?
The whole thing? Yeah, there's not very much in there. It's a one dose thing. I like to think of it like if you have like these cannabis hotels and things like that, you're gonna have to have something on deck if somebody gets sick, and like that's the product that's gonna be able to help them. So we're pretty excited about it.
So it's a one dose bottle right there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Go ahead, Justin.
Well, and I was going to say, you guys did the Waxy Brown review the other day and did like 4 or 5 dab reviews back to back to back to back.
Yeah, because we don't really review them for the effects. We review them because it's a show and we have fun. So like we can do 4 or 5 in a row.
Man, the taste and I'm talking about it, looking at the product, everything.
But yeah, you're right. We should have taken one of these after every.
Tim said that's the only way he could walk out of the building. I think.
Tim did get affected.
He did get a little over high, I think.
Well, over consumed, yeah.
Right.
But that's okay.
But he's a lightweight.
That's what we've got this for. So, where can folks learn more about it?
For all you lightweights.
Yeah, so it is www.getyourshipright with a P
ship.com.
Ship as in Navy ship.
GetYourShipRight.com.
Yeah, so there'll be more info and more stuff coming out and all that. But if you're a consumption lounge or dispensary shop or anybody like that that's looking for something like this, let us know. We got it. Retail is going to be about $7 a bottle. So it's not a killer price tag or anything like that, but it's enough that you're able to pick up a couple, have them in your little bag of tricks and take them with you in case you need them. And if you get that one friend kind of like Waxy that'll try and kill you with cannabis, it's good to have it as a fail-safe for those guys too. So
for the record, cannabis cannot kill you.
No, it can't, but it can put you in a coma. It feels like a coma.
All right.
You've been
epic couch lock.
Waxy a bit, haven't you?
Well, I'll never forget picking up a nerd rope and thinking, I just want some sugar, and it's 750 milligrams. That would have put me in a in a sleep for the next week. So
it was supposed to handle the next couple hours for me. It was at a festival. So.
Yeah. So glad I checked, but
awesome. All right. So we got Dr. Bridget Cole Williams to be on in just a moment. Before I want to talk about that, I do want to mention this lounge I was talking about in Nevada. I'm pretty stoked about this because I've not gone to Vegas a lot because there just isn't a lot of room for us to consume. Cannabis consumption lounges will soon be opening their doors in Southern Nevada. The Cannabis Compliance Board met Tuesday. That was yesterday, where officials approved the 4th conditional license. It was
Nice.
check this out. It's the first one that's going to open, I'll bet you. It was for an independent location not connected to a dispensary. So this is the first of them that's not connected to a dispensary. So I think that they're going to open a little quicker than what the others
So think
are.
about what that will do for other states if they're opening up consumption lounges right next to dispensaries or connected to.
Yeah, I wish we could do that here.
No
I do.
doubt.
So this is the first independent locations to receive a license. It's not connected or affiliated with any other cannabis business like dispensary. Like a bar, it's simply going to be a business that sells for consumption on the property. So it's not for take. It's just like you go to a bar now and you can't go buy a 6-pack and take it home. Package deal. You can't go do that. You have to consume it there or go to the package store. They're doing it the same way in Vegas. You're either going to go to the package store or you're going to consume it there. So I think I actually kind of dig that, to be honest.
Well, think about what's going to be behind the bar itself. Okay, you're going to have all your choices of which dabs you might want to take, what strain you might want to smoke,
or drinkables.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's a big one.
Yep, there you go. So think about that. All the different things.
Yeah, it's going to be bananas. I'm pretty excited about it.
Bananas.
Well, I mean, we need more of that. We have Smoky River Entertainment District, which we could talk about that too. We got the September 23rd. We have the Missouri Growers Cup, and make sure you guys are tuning in to K-Kid, even when you're not listening to the show, because you'll be able to catch all those new commercials that we just did for that event. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Paul Wall is gonna be the headliner. Pretty excited about that. But yeah. All right, cool. So let's move on to the next thing as we wait for Dr. Bridget Cole Williams. Okay, so you guys, we had a group of 4 Republican senators who do not support marijuana legalization got together in Congress and to talk about the FDA. They're trying to get the FDA to reconsider the menthol cigarette ban. They're trying to get them to dial that back. And what they did was they came in there and they accidentally admitted that legalization is actually helping. And so I thought it was pretty funny because as I read this article, I'm listening to these people who normally are prohibitionists and talk all gross about cannabis.
Right.
And this is the main point of the letter was to express the concern FDA's proposed menthol cigarette ban, which the senators said could empower transnational criminal organizations, that's cartels, to exploit black market opportunities that such policies would create. Basically saying the cartels will bring in the menthol cigarettes if you do this. Now, the senators are not in favor of cannabis legalization, but they did, as far as I'm concerned, they inadvertently made that case for that reform. Here's the quote. While the primary threat from Mexican TCOs comes from trafficking in illicit drugs, these organizations have diversified their activities in response to changing conditions. That's legalization. Okay. While the primary threat is from the cartels, comes from trafficking in illicit drugs, these organizations have diversified because legalization of cannabis is happening. They said, as it has become easier to sell marijuana products in the U.S., Mexican cartels have prioritized trafficking fentanyl and other synthetic drugs that are cheaper to manufacture, easier to transport, and generate more profit.
And kill more people.
Well, there's that part too. And go ahead, Justin.
I'll say that the big one is like knockoff Ritalin. It's just meth.
Right.
So they're preying on people that need medicine for legitimate medical problems. And they're finding that loophole because they don't have insurance or whatever, and they're selling it to them, and they're just giving their kids methamphetamine thinking it's Ritalin or whatever else, which is
it's
just
the same way that folks here that think that they're, and we don't condone any kind of drug use besides cannabis on the show, but people do think that they're getting heroin and end up with fentanyl and die.
Right.
It's disgusting, and that's exactly why we needed legalization of cannabis in the United States, not only so that we can stay away from things like tainted medicine, things like that, but also so that the cartels will stop being the ones that produce the cannabis for us.
So are the cartels pushing tobacco now, trying to say that we'll come in
That's
with?
what the politicians are using as an excuse. They're saying that if you do this,
that the
if
cartel,
you keep it up, the
okay,
cartels will produce menthol cigarettes.
and bring it in under the table.
All advocates for cannabis are over here like, yo, you guys seriously, you're going to say that after
Okay.
keeping us illegal for so long?
You know what that really is going to take to fix that problem is some courage in cannabis.
All right.
Because we've got Dr. Bridget Cole-Williams is backstage. Do you want to bring her on so we can talk
Let's
to her?
bring her on. Hey, I want to make the intro. Folks, I want to introduce you to Dr. Bridget Cole-Williams, one of my favorite superstars out there in the advocacy and activism world. Dr. Bridget Cole-Williams, welcome back to the Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour.
It is great to be here. It's good to see you.
Very cool. So I wanted to bring you on because we are at launch time. We're going to launch the Courage in Cannabis book. It's happening. How excited are you?
I'm losing my freaking mind. To be
All right. Well, that's I imagine you are. I'm in the email chains and all that, and it seems like you either have 16 assistants or all the hands in the world. But
yeah, I just keep changing my name every time just to make it look.
But I just really appreciate what you're doing because you are giving folks like myself a chance to tell our stories and get that information out there. So I appreciate you coming on short notice, but I kind of wanted to give you a quick little interview if I could.
Sure.
Awesome. One of the questions I had for you is going to be the same question I ask all of my guests as they come on. And what did your path to cannabis look like? And I know you've told us before, but we've got some new listeners. How did you find cannabis, and why is it so important to you to ensure that other people do too?
Absolutely. So I will tell you that my origin story is that I was terrified of it. Is my origin story. My best friend's cousin was a couple years older than us, wild, crazy child, amazing person, but always smelled of weed, and she was unpredictable and just all over the place. So I was terrified of it because I was like, see what that does, and my best friend was scared of it too. So my whole life I just had a very different view of it. And then when I was practicing medicine, I was new, I was a little disappointed, to be honest with you. I basically had a factory job that I saw patients every 7 to 15 minutes. And for every patient, there's a diagnosis. For every diagnosis, there's a pill. And I was disappointed. One patient, I started actually helping patients get off of medications. One of them said, what do you think about cannabis? She had breast cancer and diabetes. And I thought she was nuts. And I was looking up information to tell her why she was nuts. And then I saw this medical information. I was like, why don't I know about this? Why, and I had a lot of faith in her and her journey. So I helped her and I learned about dosing and I saw how it was changing her health incredibly different than my pharmaceutical patients. And that's where it began for me.
Very, very, very amazing. So, we have a lot of folks on that'll tell stories about my uncle gave me some pot, and they're always fun stories, but your story has to do with learning about cannabis to help others, and it seems like that's been your path and continues to be. This is the second edition of this book. What made you want to do the first one, Dr. Bridget?
So when we opened our office in 2018, it was new for Ohio, and I'm starting to hand out these cards, and the conversation in the community was social equity and home grow and legalization and decriminalization, all the things that we talk about, right?
Right.
And then I was handing a card over to this big burly man, and he had tears in his eyes. And I was like, okay, what's going on here? And he said, I'm taking this card home to my 10-year-old son, and I'm going to tell him that his dad is not a pothead, but a patient. And he had tears. And I was like, okay. Then I give a card to this woman, and she's like, I'm taking this to church, and I'm going back to church now. And I was like, you know what? There's something going on here that no one's talking about.
Right.
Let alone the people coming back, and they're sleeping better, their anxiety, their pain, how it was really helping people. And that was not at the forefront of the conversation. So I actually started writing the stories myself. Had someone that wanted to publish it, and then I felt something was wrong. I felt like I was taking something from the community, so I put it on the back burner. COVID happened. We all do different things during COVID, and I found this anthology thing that was going on in the South. and I joined an anthology where people write their own stories. And
nice.
I was like, you know what? That's what I want to do. I want to have these people write their own stories. And so that's basically how it got started. Now we went from 18 authors in book 1. Now we're at 39.
Wow. Well, I just want to say, we only have a few minutes here, and I just want to say, from all of us on the Flower Power Hour, thank you so much for choosing my story, which is our story. It's my team's story too, because it's a story that keeps going. And I just want to say thank you for allowing us to be there. We do only have a couple minutes. Dr. Bridget, where are folks going to be able to find the book?
Okay, so we're going to be on Amazon. We're going to be on Barnes & Noble. The authors will be selling it at, wherever they are. And we're part of the distribution group that's pretty much available at every small bookstore across America. So if you have a favorite bookstore, go online. If you see the book there, ask them to put it in stores.
Nice. And who are some of the other authors? I'm excited.
Well, of course we have you, which is, and you have an amazing story. I'm so happy that you were able to join us on this. But gosh, we have every walk of life. Adam Wilkes is the CEO of Mike Tyson's brand. And so he's our forward, along with Mike Tyson doing the submission as well. Gosh, we have Ed Rosenthal, who's an amazing soul in itself. Uwe Blushing, who writes some of the best, research-friendly oriented cannabis information with Canna Keys, Cannabis Health Index. Jane West. We have a posthumous submission by Robert C. Randall. His wife, Alice O'Leary Randall, took a portion of his book. He was the first cannabis patient in the U.S. and legal cannabis patient in the U.S.
Wow. Yeah.
And so after teaching about him all of this time, to have that in this book is, amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. And I'll tell you what, we've had a lot of the authors on the show over the last 6 months, and it's been amazing to see some of the most powerful women I've seen in cannabis tell their stories.
Absolutely.
And I want to give a big shout out to your team and your staff as well, Dr. Bridget, because like you said, you couldn't do all this yourself. And the amount of work that they've had to do to put this together has been phenomenal. And it's just absolutely amazing to see this plane finally land. And I just want to congratulate you because not only, like I said, you're allowing folks like me to tell a story, but it's been just an amazing road, period.
Yeah.
But thanks again, Dr. Bridget, for being on the show. We are out of time.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me. And we'll be in your neck of the woods eventually. So
you betcha.
Sounds great.
All right, folks. Thank you so much for listening. It's been a wonderful show. Make sure you guys tune in next week. You're listening to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour. We're brought to you live from the Robust Cannabis Studios at KKID 92.9.